Don't leave her alone. Our delicate gaze lingers, then fades underneath the line we've trod, underneath where we belong, underneath the line we've trod, underneath where we belong, someplace we belong.
So, you know, one of the funny things about landscape photography and the weather is that, by and large, the worse the weather, the better the images. I'm actually really happy about this right now, because when I was out there shooting a panorama just a minute ago of the sea stack, you could see off in the distance there was just this huge plume of cloud that was just moving in over the beach, and it didn't look too dark, and I was a little afraid that it was going to be rain, but what it ended up being was far better than rain. What we got instead was just this really fantastic thick white fog that is just covering everything like a blanket right now. The sky above is just basically one giant diffuser in the sky. The sun, you can't even see the sun anymore. There is just so many layers of cloud and fog in between the sun and the ground right now that everything is just coated in this fantastic even light right now. And I know some people, you know, they think, oh, it's a beautiful blue sky day, sunny blue skies, great day to go out and take some photographs, and that is not the case at all. This is the kind of weather that you look for and you hope for, and you hope you're going to get. So before the evening gets too long and before I run out of time, I am starting to circle back here on Ruby Beach, and I'm heading this way because, as you can see over my shoulder here, there are some really lovely sea stacks that are just right down the beach here. And there's a whole bunch of them. There's about 5 of them all clustered together. So I'm going to shoot these for a little while. The light is just absolutely perfect right now for this type of photography. I don't know about you, but when I think about the Pacific Northwest and I think about the coast of Washington and Oregon and, you know, these types of landscapes, I think of this. I think of it being very foggy and moody and overcast and just awesome. I mean, look at this right here. The most awesome sea stack sticking up. Of course, I'm shooting this with a wide angle, so it just looks really small right now on camera, but I'm telling you, in person, it is, it's just awesome. It looks like some kind of alien rock formation or something that's just been plopped down right into the middle of this beach here. And I just absolutely love it. So, yes, indeed, the worse the weather, the better the shots. And I couldn't ask for worse weather this evening than this. This is just absolutely perfect. All right, so first image. I was just so thrilled when that fog and mist rolled in that afternoon. This is exactly the kind of atmosphere I was hoping to get by traveling to Oregon and to Washington and visiting the coast. This is precisely what I was looking for. And, when I first got out there to Ruby Beach earlier in the day, it was bright, it was sunny, and I took a bunch of photos. I tried to make the best of it, but none of them could compare to the ones I got later in the afternoon and early evening once this fog rolled in, and it was just so awesome. And I'm sure some other people who were having barbecues and hanging out and running around, and I'm sure they were probably not too thrilled with it, but this is exactly the kind of atmosphere that and the light that I just love shooting in. So for me, it was absolutely perfect. So yeah, this next image is without a doubt one of my favorites from that day on Ruby Beach. A couple of things going on here with regards to filters. One, obviously I was using an ND filter. I was using a Lee big stopper for this. I had traveled to Iceland and Norway recently, bringing just a little stopper with me, and while it was okay, I really I'm kind of kicking myself, quite honestly, for not getting a heavier ND. The big stopper's 10 stops, the little stopper's about 6 stops. And having this 10 stop filter on in the middle of the day when it's bright really accomplished the goal of smoothing out that water, making it very glassy, and just really bringing attention to your subject with it, which in this case is this really unique and interesting little rock formation that was just right there on the edge of the water on Ruby Beach. The second filter that I was using was something very new. It was a Tiffin black mist filter, and this is a filter that you typically hear people who do filmmaking talk about, because it's a filter which really helps soften the highlights. It helps kind of make a softer roll-off between the highlights and the whites. It's typically used in portraits. It's really nice on skin tones, but when I heard about it, I was really interested to try it just with landscape work. And I think this was a great time to use it because there's this really soft bloom of light, happening behind this rock, and the roll-off is just super nice. I just really like how this turned out. I wish I had taken the time to take the filter off so that I could have something to compare it to see how much of this was just natural and the result of the ND filter, and how much of it was the result of having the black mist filter on as well. But in general, I think the black mist filter performed really well in these conditions. I'm going to be trying it again, and I'll be doing some test cases too to see whether it works. As for this photo, again, it's just all the kind of things I love. It's minimal, it's simple. The ND filter just really helped bring that subject out and smooth everything out around it. It's exactly the kind of photography that I was hoping to do here on the Washington coast. All right, so yeah, one of my favorite images from that afternoon. Once I moved around the right side of the sea stack, there were these smaller rocks that were in front of it, and they provide this really nice stair step, that just kind of move through the frame and guide the eye up into this sea stack, this, very large dominant sea stack right in the center. And I just love the interplay between those subjects, and I just think it makes the image more visually interesting than if I had just photographed the sea stack by itself. Obviously this was shot with a ND filter. I shot this with the Lee big stopper, which really smoothed out that water and really helped emphasize those rocks in the sea stack, I think. Oh man, this is such a fantastic way to end the day. I was really hoping that the day would end well. And I got really excited earlier when the fog and the mist rolled in, and I was able to get some shots that way. And to be honest, I didn't think there'd be much of a sunset tonight because I thought that all of the fog and the mist was going to just obliterate the sun and there wouldn't be anything. But as you can see, it has dramatically changed. The fog has lifted and the sun is setting, and we have this perfect blue sky right now with pink clouds, kind of like a little bit of orange in there as well. Cotton candy is kind of how I like to think about it. And it is just absolutely perfect.
Okay, so this is the sunset panorama. In general, I'm pretty happy with this photo. I think the light is beautiful, the sky was just amazing, and that part of it I'm obviously, just really thrilled about. Compositionally, I feel like it's okay, and I feel like part of the reason why it's just okay is because I had a wide angle lens on and I was, moving really fast, and I was trying to capture this while, the sun was up and I was getting this light. And unfortunately, I shot this panorama at 18 millimeters. And whenever you do that, you kind of get like weird curvature and distortion, towards the edges of the image. And it almost starts to take on like a 360 kind of look, which is not at all what I'm going for. I just basically want a wide, normal looking photo. But I shot this wide angle, which, kind of made the subject, the C-stacks, smaller in the center of the frame. I really should have shot this using my 24-70 and then shot it at 35 or 50 millimeters instead, which I think would have helped with some of that curvature. Another thing that made this scene, in retrospect, kind of difficult to shoot as a panorama was the water, because obviously the water was moving in and out while I was shooting this image. And when you're shooting a panorama, you're shooting a bunch of images left to right or right to left. And as you're doing that, the water is just moving in and out the whole time. So you can get a bunch of images with the water line in completely different places. Somehow, some way, in this photo, the water actually turned out okay. There's another photo, which I'll show you here, where it did not work at all. You can see it over here on the left edge of the photo. The detail in the water, it looks okay for a little bit, but then when it gets closer to the foreground, it just does not match up at all. And this is part of the struggle of, shooting panoramas and shooting as I was here without an ND filter on, because I was not smoothing out that water at all. I was capturing detail in it. I don't know. I wish that this light could have stayed up for like an hour so I could have tried a bunch of different variations. But, this is why you practice, and this is why you do these things. And you try out different techniques over and over again, is to figure out what works, what doesn't, and to build up your skill set so that the next time I'm in this situation, I think I'll do it differently. I'll shoot it at like a medium focal length, probably like a 35 or a 50 millimeter, throw an ND on, try it that way, and see if that turns out better. But yeah, in general, I think for a panorama, I think this is pretty decent.
This has just been the most amazing way to end the night here at Ruby Beach on the coast of Washington. What a beautiful evening. The sunset right now is happening back here behind these C-stacks, and the light from the C-stacks is projecting across the beach here, and it's illuminating this one over here behind me. All the purple and the blues are lighting up this peak, and all of the water and the clouds around it. And it's just really, really beautiful. Couldn't ask for something better than this. So right now I'm just basically shooting the camera. I'm shooting the Canon 5D in interval timer mode. I'm just firing off a bunch of shots over and over again because I'm a little concerned about the waves that are coming in and out. I don't want to do a long exposure of this one. So I'm just shooting a whole bunch of them in the hope that at least one of the images from it will catch the waves at, you know, just the right angle and just the right kind of placement horizontally across the beach in relation to the sea stack. It's kind of a little trick that I learned when, you know, instead of standing there and just, you know, trying to fire the shutter at just the right moment to capture something. And it's a little tricky to do that, especially when you have a 2-second timer that's going off. It's easier to just put your camera in a interval mode and just let it just fire off over and over and over again. And, you know, because it's digital and we're not shooting film, you can do that. And you're not wasting any image. I almost walked right in front of my camera. Not a good thing. But man, this is, I just seriously can't ask for anything better than that. Really, really fantastic.
Okay, next photo. I had initially been shooting to my right because there was this, you know, just beautiful sunset that was happening behind the sea stacks. And then I turned around and I saw this scene, you know, with the purple light hitting the sea stack and the water in the sky. And it was really, really magnificent. And it only lasted, of course, like maybe 5 minutes. And I'm just so glad that I turned around and captured it when I did. Honestly, this is one of those photos where when you have good light and good conditions, you really don't have to do a lot of editing. I did, you know, obviously I boosted the vibrancy a little bit here. I lightened the center of the photo. I applied a little bit of dehaze to help bring it out, soften the edges, and darken them a little bit too. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty close to what the original raw photo was like. Not much more to say about it. I'm just really pleased with this photo. I had initially thought that I should have used an ND filter here to smooth out the water, but in retrospect, I'm really glad that I didn't, because I think having that extra texture and detail around the sea stack really helped bring a little more visual interest to it, especially with these bubbles here in front. I think that just really helped enhance the photo more than if I had gone super minimal like an earlier shot. Usually I don't like to include too much water like this, but for this photo I feel like it turned out quite well.
So listen, I think that's going to about do it for tonight. Any minute now the sun is going to drop below the horizon line and we're going to get into blue hour. And as much as I love blue hour, I have a bit of a drive back tonight, and I've been out here for many hours and I am worn out. So I am going to pack it up and head on, because I don't think I'm going to get anything better than the shots that I've been getting just within the past 30 minutes or so. So hey, listen, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to keep up with me and you want to see some more landscape photography videos, some more travel videos, I'm going to be making more of these in the future. So by all means, feel free to subscribe. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Almost tripped over my tripod. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. So I will see you next time. Oh, all the sea stacks.
Why like two cameras, like one facing that way and one facing that way? What's the deal with that?
YouTube.
Oh.
See, I'm wearing a mic. Yeah, so I record myself talking about what I'm doing, and then I put it all together later.
I saw you talking and looked like you were taking a picture.
I look like a
and
crazy
I thought there was
person.
a person there, and then
Yeah.
you're talking this, and I'm like, there's no person that you're like, thought you must be doing something interesting.
No.
I thought I would ask.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, that is really fun. Well, enjoy.
All right, have a good one.